Thursday Meditation, September 13th, 1979. LL Research channeling Hatonn. Carla, channeling. I am Hatonn, and I greet you in the love and in the light of the infinite Creator. We are sorry for the delay in achieving contact with this instrument, but we are on station elsewhere in your sky and are having to work through a series of what you would call computers in order to relay our thoughts to you. Normally, the one known as Laboratories would speak to you, but because of this special group that we have tonight with the presence of the one known as S, we wished to speak to you ourselves. For there is much that we would say to you that would be inappropriate to say to a larger group. We are able to reach this instrument due to the fact that there are several other members of this group who have not been able to reach your physical domicile at this time, but who are meditating with you in their own dwelling places. Thus, we can achieve a good contact. This instrument has often wondered why the planetary entity that has most often spoken to her from the inner planes, during what you would call seances, was named Moses. We would like to bring out some points about the reason for the one known to your peoples as Moses being one of your inner guides upon the earthly plane. It was many, many years ago, several thousand of your years to be exact, or more exact, shall we say, when you, in your little charge of courageous pilgrims, desiring to help the people of this earth, stood before the council that governs this solar system and requested permission to incarnate into this solar system in the cycle. Permission was granted. It was not granted to all that applied, and to those that won the approval of the council, there still remained mixed feelings, for you knew what you must lose in order to enter such a dense and unloving vibration as the earth plane. You have tried, through many incarnations, to be of service to the people of this planet. It was hoped very much by you before you began this incarnation that this would be the incarnation in which you succeeded in that plan. In other words, my friend, you, like Moses, have been attempting to lead your people through a desert toward a promised land of love and light, which you can see clearly in a distance and know as a reality, but which those around you either doubt or disclaim completely. And now, my friends, you find yourselves moving through the incarnation, giving of yourself to the best of your ability and to the best of your judgment, finding yourself still in the desert. We can only say to you, my friends, that your sacrifice has not been in vain, nor will it ever have been for nothing. Even if you do not lead your people into the promised land, even if, as some have rather crudely put it, you cannot save your planet, you have shown by your life and by your works to the best of your ability that love and the light that awaits those who praise the truth of the Creator's love. Remember that you are not alone in this great effort to heal a planet and its millions and millions of souls. What you have done prepares the way, at the very least, for another generation of those who seek the promised land, as long as your gaze is steady, as long as you know the reality of the eventual goal. The fact that you cannot yourself bring the planet with you to the completion of that goal should not sorrow you, for you must realize that the free will of each soul is supreme. What you must realize for your own sanity is summed up in your holy works, in the parable of Moses and the burning bush. The bush was burned, and yet it was not consumed. And out of the bush, a voice addressed the one known as Moses, there in the desert as he stood, foot-weary and dusty and helpless. "Take off your shoes," said the voice, "for that place whereon you stand is holy ground." You cannot bring people to an understanding. You can only bring yourself to people. And if you have the realization that you are constantly in the holy tabernacle, dwelling in serenity and intimacy with the Creator, which is the spirit of love among men, then you will be able to bring that holiness ever so quietly into the atmosphere about you. We realize that you do not consider yourselves to be saints, that you could not possibly be holy. We realize this. We can see your hearts and that you quake with the sadness of all your indiscretions, heated words, wrong feelings, actions which you considered indiscreet, and actions which you fear may be indiscreet in the future. But we say to you, my friends, we are not speaking here of the human personality. For there is a level beneath the human personality in which true sainthood and true holiness abides. You do not so much need to tame your human personality as to learn to discard it, to understand the shallowness of its emotions, to understand that as the bedrock of your character lies that with which you came into this solar system, and that which the Council of Saturn passed. Yes, my friends, compared to those who dwell upon this planet from a previous age, you are indeed saints, subconsciously. The longer you spend in meditation, the more you will begin to feel comfortable with the fact, not to be proud, but only to be able to manifest it in your life by feeling the presence and the power of the Creator who is with you, no matter how the emotions of your daily life may turn about you, no matter how distracted you may become by the petty concerns of petty people. Yet, you have that to fall back on, which they may not. And it is that which makes you a shepherd. And it is the lack of that which makes them the sheep. And thus your relationship defined. You will recognize other shepherds when you see them, for you will hear in them the world weariness, and yet the total sweetness that comes with the subconscious knowledge that this is truly not reality for you, but merely an illusion that you have selected in order to do a job. We are aware that each of those in your little band has become increasingly desirous of bringing, shall we say, to a head the business of setting the planet all right. We wish, my friends, that we could give you the personal guarantee of success that you would so like to hear. But you have a planet that's moving rapidly and completely into the new vibration, and its people are not. Its people are becoming more and more polarized, are desiring to stand upon ground which is not holy, are desiring to distract themselves from that which may be of depth and meaning to them, so that they will not have to think of the consequences of being unholy, unkind, ungenerous, unloving. My friends, you love one another, and you truly try to love those with whom you come in contact. We can only ask that you dig a little deeper into your subconscious, into the knowledge with which you came into this vibration so many long years ago. You have the opportunity to remember the sweetness and the simplicity of constant contact with the oneness of all things. You merely doubt from time to time that these things are so, because you are lost in the wilderness where there are so few shepherds and so many sheep, and the herding of them is almost intolerable. Therefore, we say to you, be of good courage, and do not think of goals, but only of the mile which you are walking at this time. We do not know how long the wilderness lasts in terms of time. If it lasts past your lifetime, then you will have been a shepherd along the way. You will not be in at the finish. You will not see the end written across the skies. The movie will not be over for you when you leave this incarnation. This is of no concern to you. Do not be concerned with your accomplishments. Be concerned only with the amount of time that you spend dealing with the individuals upon the sturdy and heartfelt basis of the love of the Creator. Be concerned only with the analysis of your own thoughts, that you may reject those thoughts which are not helpful to your spiritual growth or to the growth of others. Most of all, allow your intuition to play the part in your life that it deserves. For with daily meditation, your intuition will point you in a direction that you ought to go. There will always be, to those who pray and meditate, a path that becomes obvious. It is not always what one would desire consciously, but when it becomes obvious, seize it and embrace it, for it is your next lesson. And by learning these lessons and learning them with love, you and your powerful personalities, well schooled in love, are raising the planetary consciousness to a goodly degree. We are aware that the one known as S has continued to feel isolated, and it is our hope that we have been able to put into the mind of at least one other person in that area the desire to form a meditation group. We do not know if we have been successful, due to the fact that we do not directly do these things, but do them only through instruments. And in this case, we used the book written by this entity and the one known as Dawn, and an inquiry about people in the area of the one known as S, in order that this instrument could write a little note with the telephone number of the one known as S. If this is to be, it will be. We do not know, for it is totally dependent upon the free will of those concerned. But it has always been our desire that the one known as S not be isolated. However, it was felt by us that it was important for the spiritual strength of the one known as S that she be able to go through the wilderness unafraid and without regret. We are satisfied at this time that she is aware that we are with her, and we feel that her remaining desire to be in touch with us through channels such as this one is simply an understandable desire for the closeness of contact. Indeed, this desire is also felt by this instrument, who has never tired of these messages. We ask you to realize that we are very grateful to you, for you have been sent into a world that is hostile, and you do not have visible help. You have a great deal of invisible help, but you must always be strengthening your faith in order to be able to lean on this help as you would upon the help of a friend. Not that we or the Creator Himself could ever tell you what to do, but that when you lean upon the spiritual truth of love, love will live your life, and you need only follow the path of love. And do, to the best of your ability, those good works that have been laid out for you to do. They may be as humble as a smile in a crowded supermarket, a sweet thought on a winter's day, the noticing of the beauty of nature. Yes, my friends, these are good works. These things improve the planetary consciousness. There are dramatic good works, yes, but they are far and few between. That which love has for you to do will be governed completely by the capacity of the planetary consciousness to absorb the love which you have to give. If you cannot give it to all, you may give it to some. If you cannot give it to some, you may give it to a few. If you cannot give it to men and women, you may always, my friends, give it to children, for they are simple and open and understand love. Your tour of duty, shall we say, is almost over, and we feel that it would not make you unduly proud to say that you have done well. We wish only that your heartaches could be less and that your joy could be more, for this is what you came into this world to share. The joy of living under the highest law, the law of love. We wish you the greatest of peace and strength and confidence in your day-by-day attempts to express this love in your life, to show this love and this joy in every smile and laugh, in every refusal to be bitter, in every forgiveness and every forgetting of a wrong. In a way, you are not special, for you are children of God, as are all. It is only that you have more experience, and this gives you responsibility. We hope that this responsibility may weigh lightly upon you, and that you may find grace. Side 1 of the tape recording this session ends here. We pick up on side 2 with Carla channeling Hatonn. I am Hatonn. I am again with this instrument. We apologize for the delay, but the noise of the tape recorder, which ended, lightened this instrument's concentration upon our words, and we felt that she would better finish this message if she were able to turn it and begin another side. We would at this time pause and ask if the one known as S has any questions at this time. S. Inaudible. Our evolution, inaudible, at this time. A great sense of inaudible. Sadness in your words. Impression that in fact, inaudible. We are not making progress that was once hoped, inaudible. Hatonn. I am Hatonn. Your impression of the sadness in our voice is correct, my sister. However, it is not sadness because of your failure to be shepherds of the flock. For indeed, there have been many more who remembered the love of the Creator and served that love in their lives than we ever expected or hoped for when this planet was seeded with people such as yourselves who lay down their lives for their brethren in love. We are very, shall we say, grateful and impressed. The problem, my sister, lies in a planet which is only with the greatest difficulty avoiding becoming evil. It is holding on to its mixed neutrality only by some effort, and that effort is that which is put out by those such as you. As we watch the peoples of the world in which you now reside, we do not see any lessening of nationalism and all of the pride and vain glory which that causes, of the desire for war as a tool of diplomacy in order to gain advantage over other nations and ideologies. These things are increasing in spite of the great tragedies that have happened within the last 100 years. The vibrations are very strong in your planet. It is as though the people were vampires, desirous of blood. You have tried very hard, and so have we. And individuals among the sheep will pass the graduation test, and thus you will have done your job. And for that, you too can be grateful and feel satisfied. But you were fighting against great odds, and so are we. We still fight on, and so do you. And we do not consider the situation hopeless, for there is an eternity in which to work it out. However, the fact remains that at this moment, we cannot even be on station over your skies, working with groups such as yours, in what you call your United States. It is only through a request to the central computer that we have been able to speak with you this evening. For we are attempting to send words of peace and love into the leaders of those in your old world, those of the Orient, those of what you call Russia, those of the Middle East. They seem to be so determined to blow up what they cannot have. And what they do not realize is that they will destroy not only themselves, but souls if they are allowed to use the nuclear weapons. Thus, we are sad this evening, for we are those who love, and love breeds sadness. Thus, we too must meditate and remember the joy of the Creator. However, we do not shrink from what we see to be the truth. We simply accept it and realize that all those who, at this time, are not progressing, or progressing very slowly, will simply progress in another time, in another place of their own free will. For the process is inexorable. We do not then ever despair, for we know that no souls can be lost. They can only be longer in the darkness, and this we wish to help you to avoid on your planet. And we know that you too wish to help your peoples in this way. We are afraid that in the vibration of love as we know it, there is a dynamic of joy and sadness. Joy from the Creator, sadness because of the separation of those who are separated from the Creator. For those who love wish only to serve others, and when you cannot serve, you must then feel sad. Perhaps that is the hardest thing about loving, is to know that you cannot change people. They must come to you. They must be ready. Then the seed is planted, and joy begins again in new ground. For this you may hope. For this you may still and always hope. For although this planet will not as a whole successfully enter the next density, there are those who will. And even now, you can help them develop. It does not have to be by the dialectic of spoken word. As we said before, it can be by smiles, by writing, by singing, by touching, by all the ways that you can show love. We are aware that many times both of you to whom we speak at this time have had the gift of listening. That is a great act of love. We encourage it in you. You may feel that you are not helping by listening, but if you listen with love, you can be the transformative element in the equation. You need not say anything in order for the look in your eye to reflect an attitude in which the voices of others become aware of what they are saying and so begin to tell the truth, and so begin to find themselves. But we share our sadness with you at this time because we want you to know that you are not alone, that we are not without compassion for your feelings. However, we wish you to understand that there is a deeper reality in which you must not and cannot feel sad. For as we said, the place whereon you stand at this very moment, wherever you are, is holy ground. You do not need to reach the promised land. You have the promised land in your heart. Simply because other people cannot see it does not mean that it is not there. You must visit it in meditation, and then you will know. Does this answer your question, my sister? S. Yes, although I... Inaudible. Active imagination. Inaudible. Broadest transformation. Inaudible. Part of it. Inaudible. Perhaps I may not be part of that. Inaudible. My... Inaudible. Waiting. Inaudible. Problem. Inaudible. So afraid to do something. Inaudible. If it's my ego or not. Inaudible. Back and wait. Inaudible. Hatonn. I am Hatonn. I am aware of your sentiments. May we say again that you are not the only one of your band who feels the intense pressure of action at this time. This was indeed to be the time of movement, and it is possible yet that your little band may be able to do a few things. The one known as M, the one known as K, the one known as B, and especially the one known as Dawn, have all suffered terribly in these last months because of an urgent and continuing feeling that they have not taken hold of their responsibilities. This instrument, who is less susceptible to this pressure, has also felt that this is a critical time, although it has not distressed her as much. Your perception is totally and perfectly correct. This and the years to come, your year 1980, 1981, 1982, are your critical years in your incarnations. These were the years that you had all set aside to be mature enough and ready enough to work together to aid your planet. The planet which you adopted so bravely. It will be a measure of the determination of each as to how much of this is realized. However, it is our observation that the outcome of even the most successful campaign on your part is simply questionable. As we said, we have come to the conclusion that we can save individuals and be careful and consciously cautious in beginning their spiritual path by inspiration, and so may you be. But we have come to the conclusion that we cannot, as a whole, transform this planetary consciousness. At best, we can simply keep it from tearing up the planet, this very beautiful planet on which you now reside. And that is now our goal, and what we continue to ask light groups, such as yours, to pray for. That the weather be asked by your higher selves to be calm. That the leaders of your world be asked by your higher selves to be in peace, in love, and harmony. These may seem to be foolish thoughts in the face of the weather that you are now experiencing and the difficulties that your international scene now presents. But we say to you that each prayer is heard. What you do can change things on the inner planes. Already, light groups like yours have saved many in California, and we ask your help with what you would call earthquakes. At the time that we asked that, rather than one large earthquake, there were several small ones, and there was no loss of life. We continue to fight small battles such as this one, in lieu of the important and great battle, which we feel that we have lost, the battle for the planetary consciousness of your people. Many of your people will simply have to repeat the cycle of time which they have just experienced. It is not a true sadness that we feel, for we know that all will be well. It is simply a disappointment that we cannot share the Creator and the joy of His love with all people who have that joy within them, waiting to be unblocked, waiting to be unlocked. But it cannot be if the person does not desire to use the key. So be it. We shall see, and we will be in touch with your group. You may depend upon it, in the months to come and the years to come, to witness with you and to send our love and support for your own program to give love and information to those who desire it on your planet. We know that you will do the best that you can. We do not fear for any ego problems of any of you, for we feel that life itself has taught you enough at this point that you can analyze your own thoughts and work with them yourselves. Each of you in the group that has come to planet Earth at this time together is a highly disciplined person. Ego is useful for being a chemical being upon a chemical planet. To be totally without ego would be somewhat awkward. We do not fear ego or ask you to dismantle it. We ask you to be aware of the way it works in your life. And when you feel that you have become offensive because of it, correct that action. That is all you need to worry about in ego. If you are giving information to others, you may become tired of the sound of your voice. You may feel that you are showing off your information or your knowledge. But we ask you, why do you think that you had that information? Be humble in your heart and know that you are nothing without the Creator but clay and dust. But know also that you are a perfect created being. Do not be proud of the dust, but be unafraid to share the joy of being a child of God. We ask you in all sincerity to have confidence and not to worry about your ego, but simply to analyze your actions in each case. And when you have determined whether your ego or your love was working, adjust your behavior accordingly. For you are not in a situation where others will understand you, and it would do you no good to speak to others. Thus, you must be your own disciplinarian. You are always able to speak at any time on the physical plane with those others of your group with whom you came. If there is a question that you cannot penetrate, we urge you to speak to the one known as Dawn, or any of the others in your group. And we assure you that we will send you our thoughts, if you ask us. But most of all, you must have the confidence to realize that you know the score, and that you are too much a student of life to allow something that has been a rather beautiful and loving existence up to this point to become marred by excessive egoism. We are aware that you have been egoistic in the past. So has everyone that is incarnate in a chemical universe. Ego is a defense mechanism. It is a separator. Without ego, you would become the proverbial doormat. Know who you are. Let your ego speak, but then let it be quiet. Simply see the balance between too little and too much. We are aware that many Eastern religions encourage the total abolishment of ego. This is all very well and good in a culture where the holy are fed. In your particular culture, the holy are normally considered quite insane. Thus, retain your protective coloration and your ego as part of that. For you cannot function unless the society perceives you as normal. But know in your heart who you are, and let not your ego tell you that you have limitations. Has this helped, my sister? S. Yes, inaudible. I may also pray, inaudible. I hope you will send your light, inaudible. Appear to, inaudible. I guess that goes along, inaudible, with incarnating inaudible, physical body inaudible, fear of what inaudible, said inaudible. As much as I have tried to tell myself this is an illusion, inaudible, and I know there is a greater reality, I still have the fear of my own physical being, the physical being that I have given birth to, and it is sometimes hard to get back to the basics and a inaudible. Feel that fear, inaudible. I need all the help I can get, inaudible. Quiet and get back to reality, inaudible. Experience. Hatonn. I am Hatonn. I will give you words of comfort, my sister, by urging you to never look ahead. For one of your singular imagination, that is not a profitable activity. The day in which you are living at this point is enough meat for your thoughts to digest. To live in the future is as mistaken as to live in the past. That which you have is only yours for a moment, and then is replaced by something else that is only yours for a moment. As you say, in the greater reality, all times are one, and you need not fear the future, because it is no longer the future, but a great circle of reality, encompassing all that ever was or ever will be. But in this illusion, you must train your mind. Wow, well, the second side of the tape recording this session ends here, and unfortunately, ends our transcript.
Go forth then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite Creator.